one of my favorite expert contributors to bring into the show, Attorney Richard Alexander. Welcome back in, man.
Thanks, Brandon. You know how much I love being here, so thank you.
Yeah, man. So it's great. I love how you come with these great ideas. You do your research. We've got some interesting content to talk about.
Yes.
Very topical content.
Very.
Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with what happened earlier this morning, which was at 8:30. There was a motion filed by the Hillsborough County State Attorney in front of Judge Nash, Christopher Nash, and pretty much is to exonerate Mr. Robert DuBoise. I don't know if anybody knows, but literally it just came out a couple of days ago that the Hillsborough County State Attorney determined that they had convicted an innocent man way back in 1983, which means he had been, which means he had been in federal prison for, state prison for 37 years for the rape and murder of an individual. I believe Barbara Grams was her name.
Wow.
And she was left behind a dentist's office.
Wow.
Way back. And he was convicted. And here's what I thought was one of the weird things. He was convicted on what they determined to be a reconstructive bite mark and a jailhouse informant. Okay, now they had collected DNA from the victim and stored it away. And they didn't test it because they feel it would be inconclusive given the scientific, background at the time. So they didn't think they could do it effectively, and it would be introduced as medical evidence or medical testimony.
Right.
So they just stored it away.
Interesting.
Okay, so that's what he was convicted of. And what's curious about that is that's how, in the Ted Bundy case, that's how one of the convictions stood, was the bite mark on one of the students from FSU.
Right.
Because he had a tendency to do that, and he had a very distinctive bite.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with this case. And, the man was convicted on that. There was no other evidence.
Wow.
And, how about that?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, watching that, well, first of all, prayers are out for the family of Robert DuBoise. I mean, that's horrible for a family to have to go through that. Thank God we finally got it right after 37 years. I don't know how that plays out.
I mean,
it's like crazy.
That's my point, man. What do you do?
Yeah.
Sorry, and good luck with your life.
Yeah, does he get any kind of, hey, here's a $50,000 Kickstarter account? Like, what happens in that situation? My bad.
I think he can petition the governor, because there are caps.
Yeah.
How much you can sue the state.
Yeah.
But I think in rare circumstances you can petition Tallahassee in order to get something above and beyond that. Those have to be this would be a perfect prime case for that.
Wow, interesting, man.
So this was the work of a 1-year investigation from the Innocence Project, which is pretty famous, and the Hillsborough County State Attorney's Office. And one of the things I just found incredible is that they had secured the DNA evidence, and it was with the Hillsborough County Medical Examiner's Office since 1990.
Wow.
So it wasn't until 2019 that they said, hey, maybe we need to relook at this case.
Wow.
So think about that. It's quite possible that this guy did an inordinate amount of time because no one had looked into it before.
It just shows you, too, the other thing, because I was mentioning before the show, we were talking about my friend that is a pilot now, very successful, published author, flying around, millionaires, NFL coaches, different people. And he had a similar situation, wrongfully convicted, imprisoned, almost killed in prison. The story, we're actually shopping it right now. We're putting together a script. We're putting together a movie, sizzle reels. We got the whole thing going. But same thing, but he had to fight from within. He had to keep fighting, set up a website. Ultimately, the judge gets thrown off the bench for railroading not only him and accepting bribes, multiple other cases of that. So they revoked her license, revoked her ability to be a judge.
It's tragic. I mean, it really is tragic because I was once a prosecutor, and I know about the conversations that go on, behind closed doors, and why they're doing things. And I knew at all times that the line, it has to stop with me.
Yeah.
Because all prosecutors in the state of Florida are certified law enforcement officers. We carry a badge.
Yeah.
I did at one time, and I knew that no matter what, that even if someone if someone is railroaded or someone's rights are violated, I mean, it's up to me to right that wrong.
Right.
And
right.
it's
But the flip side of that, somebody doesn't have the ethics that you do and the will to find justice, whichever way it may be. Some of them, like you're hearing rumors about, and not to go down the political side, but you got Kamala Harris, who VP. There's rumors out there, and I've seen different studies or podcasts about it where she would do it just to win the case.
Look, it's the win at all costs mentality is what
Exactly.
exactly what you just broached on. But I'm not sure what happened this morning at 8:30 in front of Judge Nash.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine him denying the motion by the prosecution to release this man, and he should be released today.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
So he'll be a free man.
Wow.
Later today.
We got to interview him. We got to get him in here.
That I think he would be an excellent person to talk to about what he went through.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I don't want to overlook, of course, the family of Barbara Grams, who is the victim in this, and now they're going to have to reopen this case.
Wow.
Luckily, the DNA that was preserved from her has pointed to 2 suspects.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
So you talk about a total 180 turnaround there, and hopefully get the right person.
Right. Hopefully get the right person and give a new closure to the family.
Right.
Of Miss Graham.
Yeah, we're talking with attorney Richard Alexander here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Trust Alexander Law is the website, trustalexanderlaw.com, and a longtime friend of the program here and a legal analyst for us. So let's talk a little bit about, we had mentioned as well the cyber kid, the whole issue with that.
Yeah.
Haven't heard anything yet, but it's probably still in the discovery phase.
Yeah, I haven't either. Again, the state attorney, the Hillsborough County State Attorney, has decided to keep this case in-house, keep it close, when clearly, it's a federal. It should be a federal case,
right?
Because the feds, they have the money and the will and the manpower, the expertise to, with cybersecurity affecting, potentially, billions of people on the planet.
Yeah.
But he decided to keep it in house in the election year of
fame.
Yeah, in the election year of 2020, where he's not running unopposed. And it's going to be interesting because they're going to have to go through the discovery phase.
Wow.
Like anything else. And I would imagine that discovery is going to be extensive on this, considering, again, I think there are 2 other players on this, and one of them is a British citizen.
Oh, wow.
And the other one, I believe, again, this is what I've read.
So co-conspirators, etc.
And another one is actually is an employee of Twitter.
Ah, yeah. You had to have an inside.
Yeah, you remember that?
Somebody with the code or something.
Right. And I think, again, this is everything I've read about it because I was fascinated when this happened.
Yeah.
That evidently the kid that was arrested had some compromising, information on this Twitter employee.
Ooh.
And that's why he capitulated.
Right.
And, told him how to get into the accounts of, high-profile celebrities.
Wow.
Like Elon Musk, for instance, and Barack Obama. So,
yeah.
So, talk about a movie to be made. That's a good movie of the week.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So that's an interesting. So you also have something major happening right now. You got back to school. Kids started back. They're going back. Some are already back. Teachers Union versus the governor. Let's save it for the next segment, okay?
Sure.
So we're going to come back. Richard Alexander here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Going to frame that up for you, talk about what's happening in the state of Florida, the big debate between should the kids come back? Is it wrong because the teachers are going to be put into a vulnerable position? And I just keep looking at the stats of, hey, you have a 99% chance of not dying from this COVID thing. So stay with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Taco Bell employee saves man's life in drive-thru as well. That's our feel-good story of the day. And we'll be right back after this short break.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
We got attorney Richard Alexander in studio. We got a great conversation going around things happening in the legal profession. He is a local attorney here in Tampa Bay, can help out with the different types of law as well. Richard, we were going to talk about the teachers union versus Governor Ron DeSantis. Basically, this is kind of rolling out right now.
Oh my God! Yeah, that ruling came out 3 days ago on the 24th. And if you know a little bit about it, what happened was the largest Florida teachers union sued the governor, along with the education commissioner, which is Richard Corcoran, and the main reason was really a 2-prong attack from the teachers union, which is the plaintiffs in this case, and they sued up in Tallahassee. And one of the issues was that, when they actually issued a mandate that brick and mortar has to be open to the children. This was a statewide mandate. They felt that was unconstitutional because it has to provide a safe and secure location, and that has to be for everybody. Not just the kids, but the teachers as well. And they overstepped their authority by doing that in violation of the Florida Constitution. And the other
allegedly, or that's proven.
Well, no, the judge ruled in their favor.
Okay, in the plaintiff's favor?
Correct, the teachers union, okay. And the other part was that, there was a mandate that was also issued that, well, if you don't have brick and mortars open, then you're not going to be entitled to funds.
Right, that's the flip side.
Yeah, and for Hillsborough County, we were talking over $20 million a month.
Wow.
Because I don't know if you know this, but Hillsborough County is one of the biggest one of the biggest districts in the country.
I've heard that from the fire chief. And
it's massive.
Lots of different folks coming on. So, so it's interesting. So frame this up for us then. So what's the decision to be made?
Well, the decision has already been made. It was made on the 24th by the judge out of Tallahassee in Leon County. And he basically said that the order violates the Constitution in part. And what he meant by that was, I'm not going to rule on every issue, but I will say is this, that the school districts are in the better position to decide for their districts as to how they're going to conduct the school system or the school year. And also, because they are teaching the kids online, regardless of what the school districts decide, that withholding of funds, that's unconstitutional.
Right.
Because in essence, what it is a type of extortion.
It is, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. So, and honestly, there's not a school district in this country that can go without $20 million a month.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's an extraordinary number.
So it seems like there's somewhere in the middle here there's going to be a nice solution, and I just thought that we were kind of moving that way. Some kids learn better in the classroom. Let's space them out as little bit as we can. Let's have them wear the mask. And again, I just keep going back to, though, every time we start debating how bad this is, I just look at the death rate is extremely low for this virus. And to me, it's just overplayed. It's a political game. It's the political football of the election year. So I just look at what's the worst case scenario. Okay, so if you're, by the way, the average death was 79 is what I've seen, right? 79 years old. Okay, and if you're not in great shape, so it gets into this whole thing of we're catering to the very small minority of people that could be affected, and you're affecting all these big bunch of groups of people. And you're inconveniencing others. You put a lot of businesses out. So I understand definitely both sides of the equation, though. I'm just wondering how it's going to shake out. What do you see happening?
Yeah, look, it's not one of those instances where it's a zero-sum game. Like the Super Bowl, you have to have a winner and you have to have a loser.
Right.
When clock's 0-0-0. This is not one of those things.
Right.
And I think no one's going to win on this.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know this, but there was a local attorney that was doing free wills for teachers. Have you heard about that?
Oh, wow.
He was actually
PR
advertising. Stunt. Yeah, well, and it worked. Some teachers took advantage of it. Yeah, I'm going to do my will. Because I'm serious. I know. And it's a local attorney says, I'll do it for free. And if you want to do your will with me, by all means, I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
But it's things like that. I understand. I understand their perception. I get it. I understand it, like you just said. But what's the solution? I don't know. There are kids that clearly need to be in class, especially kids with special needs, like they're on the spectrum.
Exactly.
They have to have that one-on-one.
Kids that can't hardly eat. They don't hardly get their meals unless they go get that school lunch, that hot lunch.
Well, to piggyback on that, like you just said, Brandon, breakfast, lunch, they depend on the schools to provide that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you recall, but over the summer, a lot of the schools were just handing out lunches to the kids, during the end of the school year because they weren't getting lunch any other way.
Yeah, the other thing, Richard, by the way, let me reset real quick. Richard Alexander here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Alexander Law. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. In case you just joined us, we're talking about the teachers union versus Governor Ron DeSantis, the whole debate about going back to school. But yeah, if we keep kids out of school, we're not educating them, we're forcing them to maybe go online, they're not going to learn as well. The last thing we need is the dumbing down of the next generation. With social media, the stuff they're already doing. And then, by the way, didn't we just vote an increase on ourselves in taxes?
Yes, Hillsborough County did
last year. So that's
Absolutely.
my point. That's my point. There is we can't afford any more dumbing down of our American system.
One of the things that really concerns and bothers me is that if you've ever been to a teacher's classroom that teaches science, Okay, the classroom is a science experiment.
Right.
They have, I mean, they spend their own money.
Yeah.
They decorate their classrooms. Their classrooms are full of experiments.
Yep.
They're in the cupboards. They're in the closets. They're everywhere. And you cannot have that online.
Yeah, Bunsen burners.
It's not possible. Exactly. With all different types of experiments, with all different types of chemicals, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Happen. Well, and I don't know what the solution is, but I agree with you that we're talking about less than 1%.
Yeah.
Less than 1%, really think about that. That's a staggering number.
Yeah.
It's in the, like 0.05 over 100.
I just feel like there needed to be like a press conference in the, at some point, and just says, kind of like the one coach that said, we're talking about practice.
Yeah, we're
talking about less than 1%, and just, to me, it's unreal. But then the counter argument, some people are going to say, well, yeah, but if you did get it and then you had this condition, you got worse and this got worse and then it affected all the other things. Okay, well, keep yourself in better shape, take your vitamins, take your supplements, take your zincs, eat a proper diet. Don't go through the drive-thrus like you do. Personal responsibility is my point.
Yeah, I nobody wants our children to become incubators and bring it home. Obviously, nobody wants that. That would be insane because you bring it home to people that are maybe more susceptible.
Exactly.
And I get that side of it, but fortunately, and I'm going to put that in quotes, our children missed out on the last 2.5 months of school in the previous school year. Mm-hmm. And during this whole summer, our children have been trained to wear masks, to use, the hand sanitizers, to use all of that. So I have to rely on our kids just having a little better sense.
Yeah.
The teachers being in a much better position to say, listen, this is not acceptable.
Yep.
And, just let the educators educate. But I don't know if that could be done. I'm confident in certain disciplines that cannot be done online.
Yeah, and the college kids, I just heard more and more about it. Hey, no groups of 10, not even 10,
right.
No groups. And people are starting to get expelled from school now because they went to a party or whatever. Yeah. So, come on, what are we doing there? It's a little bit of an overreach. We got about a minute left. Give us your top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom, my friend.
Well, the one thing, because I am an educator, I'll be on campus next week, but the one thing I always tell my students is, knowledge is power. Don't just take one source, reach out, do your research, okay, then come to an informed decision. Don't let anybody dictate for you what you think. The sheep mentality, the herd mentality, I despise that above all else. Just do your own research and come to your own conclusion. And you can be as passionate as you want to be, but have facts to back up your passion.
Yeah, absolutely. Richard Alexander, attorney Richard Alexander, Alexander Law, trustalexanderlaw.com. And, of course, we had a great show as well. Diane Vance was on the show earlier, Fairway Independent Mortgage. Ray Hall Appraisals, talks a lot about the real estate industry, things happening. Pending sales are up big time. People are moving away from a lot of the more metropolitan areas, the more urban areas. They're moving out of those things happening over to the suburbs. A lot of things happening here in the United States right now. Of course, this thanks to our wonderful election cycle. So, Richard, hey, another great show. Thanks so much, man. We appreciate all the
it's my pleasure,
great
man.
nuggets of advice there.
I'm always humble.
And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community and perpetuate the good out there. Do something kind for one another. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter, Consumer Quarterback Show page, and, of course, the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time